Daytona Dodge pace car. Lights are still on. Couple more pace laps, and then it's going to be 3 to go, this time at the line. Just about time to go for 175 laps of action.
They got our equipment forward. The starter stand, they're given the indication in just a few short moments. Mother Nature is blessing them. They head to the bottom of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Lights glistening from Wheelan Engineering, the first name in light, sirens, and safety services used throughout the world. With all the colors of the rainbow, they're set to do battle. This is the big dance, where one competitor will lead and the rest will follow. Off turn number 4, crew members watch the action on pit road. Here's an indication, 2 to go, and they come to the start-finish line. Spotters high atop broadcast central. Looking things over. Our starter addresses the field. The K&N Series at its best here. And Robert and Andrew and Jane Hart is new Smyrna Speedway.
And as we see, Haley Deegan has elected to start the race from the outside. That is usually the preferred groove, especially in these high horsepower vehicles. So Haley Deegan, the pole sitter, up top, and start the race on the outside.
But remember, it's not where you start, it's where you end up.
That is too true.
There it is. With one finger in the air, the clenched yellow flag. Like gladiators about to go into the arena, ready to do battle.
1 lap to go, ladies and gentlemen. The time is next to the line. Let's go green. 175 laps of action heading your way. Haley Deegan, the pole sitter. Drew Dollar to her inside. Then you have Brandon McReynolds, Sam Mayer, Colin Garrett, Chase Cabri, Anthony Sergi, Tanner Gray, Ty Gibbs, Ruben Garcia, Spencer Davis, Mason Diaz, Max McLaughlin, Connor Hall, Brittany Zamara, Derek Kraus, Brandon Oakley, Juan Manuel Gonzalez, Chuck Buchanan Jr., all ready to do action. Pick your favorites now. Here they come. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Daytona Dodge Pace Truck about to pull off the speedway. Here they come. Haley Deegan, the pole sitter, in command of the field. Officials backing her down.
Quickly moves to command. was about to be lapped at the front pack of cars. We'll try to reset the field for you. In the competition, with 18 laps in the record books, 3 different leaders in the competition. The pole setter was the dominant car at the start. Car number 4 took over the lead. That, of course, was Chase Cabri. And then after that, it was the number 54 car that was working its magic coming to the front for Drew Dollar out of Atlanta, Georgia. Thirdly, just out of the top position and working their magic. Keep your eyes on the Colin Garrett machine, car number 18, with that number 18 machine as it's continuing to run with those front pack of cars, but still there's a long way to go.
And Ben, we've seen him mix it up at the front of the field. Haley Deegan, the race leader early on, has fallen back to the 5th position, and it was Chase Cabri in the 4 who got to the lead, and now Drew Dollar, our outside pole sitter, has moved his way up to the race lead. We told you there'd be a lot of comers and goers, and I still don't know, sizing up the competition here, Ben, who's got what, who's saving their stuff. Again, lap breaks coming up at lap 63 and 125 for competition cautions here tonight in this 175-lap contest. So still a lot of unknowns. The one thing we do know is that it's been a very, very competitive race with Drew Dollar at the point, Chase Cabri second. You have the 15 Tanner Gray third, and it's Colin Garrett in the 18 and Haley Deegan in the 19 rounding out the top 5.
Interesting story. The Tanner Gray machine is the reigning NHRA Pro Stock champion, making a transition to go from straight line racing to oval track racing. So that's kind of an interesting side note story. 20 laps are up on the board in this 175-lap event here at the new Smyrna Speedway for the K&N Series. And it has been 3 different leaders in 20 circuits, as we said before. But that is just the beginning, as things are starting to settle in, as many of the front-running teams are starting to work their magic and come to the front of the field. Connor Hall out of Hampton, Virginia, in that number 31 car, he has picked up several positions in the Viking machine, and he continues to be single file down in pit road. The car that brought out the caution, the Chuck Buchanan machine, in the Spring Truck Ford car, was lapped by the leader and then all of a sudden went around all by itself. It was the only car that did not appear to be up to speed.
Then another car we're going to keep our eye on is that 16 of Derek Krause. The Napa Auto Parts sponsor machine started way back at 16. He's already worked his way up to about inside the top 10 as they're telling him to double up. Now these restarts going to bunch the field up. Good opportunity to make some passes. Now the leader gets lane choice. He's going to choose the upstairs lane, just like we saw at the beginning of the race with Haley Deegan. The outside lane here at New Smyrna Speedway with these particular cars is the preferred line. So now we'll see the 54 up top with Chase Cabri, the second place car on the inside as we get ready to come to the green with 22 laps complete. Caution laps do count in this event, unlike our other events tonight.
Haley Deegan's machine has started out so strong at the start of the initial part of the event, but now all of a sudden she's dropped back just a bit, but still a ways to go. 22 circuits now complete. They come off turn number 4, rumble down to the line. Again, the starter backs them down just a bit. Florida makes it look so easy, but the story for second is a whole different deal. Car number 54, Drew Dollar, is making his presence known. He's cashing in as he moves. Colin Garrett with that number 18 car setting in the 3rd spot.
A big scramble in the back of the field. Haley Deegan losing positions. They were 2 and 3 wide in turns 1 and 2. Continue to be 3 wide in turn number 3. Brandon McReynolds hung out to dry.
Chase Capri. Capri is right there in his back bumper. Meanwhile, the number 18 car has moved into 10, and it's Colin Garrett. Garrett sets in striking distance in the third spot. 4 cars run at the front of the field and start to string it out. 30 laps and counting here in his K&N special event.
The 4-car breakaway, it's the 54 of Dollar with the lead. His teammates running close behind in 4th and 5th. You have Tanner Gray in the 15, Ty Gibbs in that 17. So right now that team looking strong, but still very early as we're closing in on halfway through this first stretch run. Again, yellow going to come out on lap 63 for the competition caution. So these guys trying to get themselves in positions, trying to tell their crews what they need to do to make their cars better. We've seen cars go from the back to the front and vice versa here. Cars like Haley Deegan, Brandon McReynolds, they will have a lot of work to do. Battle with Sam Mayer and the number 6 machine.
Garcia with that number 6 car. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. White automobile down underneath the number 21. Mayer continues sliding on the outside spot. But all of a sudden, car number 6 has moved in, and Ruben Garcia has picked up yet another position. Meanwhile, down the back straightaway, the 87 still a little off the pace. 33 laps and counting. 4 different leaders of the event. And down to the stripe, it's still car number 54, setting a blistering pace for Drew Dollar out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, that 87 car made it back out on the track, but he brings it back in. He's the only car off the lead lap. All the other 18 cars still running pretty darn close to each other. Nobody's really fallen off. A little bit of trouble for this 87 car of Buchanan. He went for the spin, collected Mason Diaz, who was able to continue. Now Mason Diaz battling side by side with Haley Deegan, early race leader. So Diaz and Deegan battling for position. We got another battle a little bit further up the 99 and the one of McLaughlin. But right now, the top 4 still breaking away. Then you have the 17, Ty Gibbs there in 5th, all by himself back to Connor Hall.
Meanwhile, as they come off turn number 4, a great battle is shaping up with that number 20 car of Anthony Sergi is now starting to come to life just a bit as he starts to close up the gap ever so slightly. While all that's been happening, the Napa Auto Parts machine of Derek Krause is also starting to show a little bit of strength and muscle. He continues to hunt down the number 6 machine for Ruben Garcia Jr. 37 laps now complete. Good racing action right back through the field, but lead pack of cars pretty much still remains the same as car number 54 for Drew Dollar continues to dominate at the front of the field.
Another car I'm watching, that 16, Derek Krause. He's picked up 1 position for the restart, but he started deep in the field. Again, qualifying, scrubbed by Mother Nature. Field lined up due to practice, and that 16 had to start way in the back, but he's inside the top 10, picking his way through the field. Sam Mayer to the inside of Anthony Sergi now off turn number 4.
That's a good battle right there as you watch him go lap after lap as they continue to run nose to tail. Meanwhile, down to the bottom of the racetrack, tries to make a bid for it. It just doesn't happen. Good racing action further back in the field. Chuck Buchanan continues to have a problem with the 87. Pulls it behind the wall. 40 laps now complete. Car number 54 has been the dominant car so far for Drew Dollar.
He has the 4-car Chase Cabri, the 18 Colin Garrett, and then that 15 Tanner Gray still within striking distance. If one of those drivers slips up at all, the leader's going to be right under him. It was a bit of a wild start to this race, and now things beginning to settle down just a little bit. The 54 showing dominance, at least in this first run. That first competition caution going to come out here in just a little while, Ben, and then we'll see if it mixes up the field at all.
It certainly is going to be interesting to see. Chase Cabri, who is a graphics designer by trade, has a lot of knowledge and skill with that and designs some of the most creative race cars that he competes against. But right now, he is so creative on the racetrack because he literally runs in the tire tracks of the leader of the event. Laps continue to tick away. 43 laps now showing up on the board. And once again, car number 54, Drew Dollar, has been up front throughout the event. Remember at the start of this event, the leader had the option of starting outside or inside. We talked about that, but the number 54 machine seems to be running and sticking wherever they put it on the racetrack.
And Ben, what's interesting is we've seen the top side work for some and then not work for others. So it could be a mental chess game if it comes down to a late race restart. The outside seems to be the preferred groove, but we've seen it flip-flop a couple of times already in this one. A lot of things still to watch. So very early on in this race. Right now, the DGR Crosley team looks like the team to beat with 2 cars into that top 4 battle. And if teammates get into it later in the race, it will get interesting. That 54 continues to lead. A little bit further back, we have a battle between Spencer Davis and another machine. That's Haley Deegan upstairs. So Davis and Deegan going at it, and Deegan continues to struggle in the back of the field.
There's no question about it. Those two have had a tough go of it. They started up front, ran up front for a while, and they continue to backpedal in the competition here. Meanwhile, back up front, nobody's giving anything at all at the front of this field. If you've got to watch, check the times on the lead cars, and you'll see those top 4 cars about the same distance on the clock between first and second, second and third, and third and fourth. We are now on lap number 48, approaching the 50-lap marker of this event. Pit strategy is going to come into its own exceptionally soon.
And again, Ben, we got to talk about tire management with the new General tires that these teams are running. A lot of unknowns, a lot of question marks there. They have to conserve these tires, so you have to wonder, is the 54 running too hard? Is someone like Derek Krause saving his stuff? Connor Hall, we could see this field tighten up once again as tire management will come into play today. Right now, the leader's looking good, like the 18 Colin Garrett. But how much is he using up his tire? Is Haley Deegan saving her stuff? Maybe she's not struggling, maybe she's saving. We'll have to see how it all plays out. The tire strategy really going to mix things up and come into play later on.
Another great battle going on a little bit further back in the field is between the number 6 car, Ruben Garcia, and the Napa Auto Parts machine. That is currently a battle between Derek Krause as he continues to apply the pressure. Laps continue to work down. Meanwhile, the front 4 cars still strung it out at the point in this field. The 31 car that looked so strong before the last caution is now struggling, working its magic. The 54 and the 17 cars are the David Gillen cars.
We got smoke. Sorry, man. We got smoke coming out of our second place car. There was smoke down the back straightaway out of car number 4. Still smoking off the rear end. That's a lot of smoke coming off Chase Cabri's number 4. Second place car could be in trouble. I was just going to say, Ben, things beginning to settle down as they know that stage break is coming up. Will that 4 be able to even last to the stage break? Heavy smoke for our second place car as he has the 18 all over him, keeping our eye on this development. Early race leader, second place runner, possibly in trouble. Race
No
directors.
question about it. As you look at the right rear wheel of the number 4 machine, you can literally see the smoke from the brakes in the center hub of the wheel. Check it out as it comes off turn number 4 and down to the front. There's no doubt about it. It's a brake issue on that number 4 machine. But the big story is, will they be able to hold on? Because that caution could become a lifesaver. But will it come in time? Meanwhile, right there and pressuring, here is the story. There's the number 18 car of Colin Garrett. Has come literally out of nowhere to get
And here he comes,
now
man,
Garrett
down the
goes down
inside.
low.
Battle for second.
Spot.
Garrett up to second. You have to wonder how much that smoke is getting in the head of Chase Cabri. If he's just going to try to nurse that car to the break coming up here in about 6 laps. The smoke really pouring out of the back end of that machine right now. Still hangs on to third. And a little bit of brake trouble for the 50. Now the 4 car way slow on the back straightaway. Early race leader Chase Cabri could be in big time trouble here. Or is he just nursing that car trying to make it to the break?
Heartbreaking situation for a car that was so exceptionally strong in the early laps of today's program. But laps continue to tick away. So meanwhile, look a little further back in the field, and the 31 machine that was starting to gain earlier, all of a sudden it's a whole different ball game here as the number 18 and the 6 car continue to battle lap after lap. Ruben Garcia and the 6 car continues to make his presence known. There's a vid. Here comes the 18.
leaders been catching lap traffic. They've caught the 5, the 22 of Oakley. Haley Deegan in danger of going a lap down. Here comes the 18. He's going to run. He's trying to get by the 54 and lead us to the stage break. 18, Colin Garrett taking over the second spot. As you see the 4 car, Chase Cabri nursing that car. Race officials have been looking at the racetrack. No fluid down, so hopefully this is something they can correct under that stage break. He's going to give up a spot here to Ty Gibbs, drop back to 5th. Here's a battle for the race lead. 18 down to the inside. Colin Garrett trying to take it away from the 54, Drew Dollar. Just a couple laps to the stage break. Heavy lap traffic ahead. How is this going to play out?
There's no question about it. It is still a battle right there of the fittest, and only the strongest will be able to survive. Meanwhile, Colin Garrett continues to work his magic to the inside. Garrett moves to the bottom of the racetrack. He's all over the number 24 machine. No room at the end this time as Mason Diaz from Manassas, Virginia continues to try to hold on. But it's still a long battle going on there with 63 laps and counting up on the board.
It looks like Drew Dollar is going to hold him off. There's the yellow flag for the competition caution. And I believe the 5 just barely held on to the lead lap there. This is our first of 2 competition cautions here tonight. Of course, the other will come on lap 25. It'll be a 50-lap shootout to the end. But I got to say, Ben, as predicted, a very interesting first stage. Comers and goers. We've seen a couple of different leaders up there. We saw the 18 almost get to the lead there at the end of that stage. Unlike NASCAR, no stage points or anything awarded. This is just a competition caution, trying to save these teams some money as far as the crews go. If they do pit, they will not lose position on the racetrack. However, if anyone does stay out, Ben, they will move to the front of the field, and those who pit will line up as they came in behind those who do not pit. That is how these caution periods are going to work, but I would imagine after that long run, everybody's going to be coming in.
You know, it'll be interesting to see. We know definitely that some of the competitors that ran so strong in the opening laps of the event have been forced to back out of it just a bit, and that process is where the strategy comes into play. And this is a little bit different than you might be used to seeing competing. Take a look down at pit road and you can see the crew members getting ready to prepare as these cars, as they work their magic down at pit road. And the first of the cars come rumbling off turn number 4. And the first car in will be the number 16 machine for Derek Prouse. The 17 will follow for Ty Gibbs, and the number 4 car for Chase Cabri. That was the car, remember, that was very, very strong in the opening laps of the event. The 6th car is in next for Ruben Garcia.
So, Ben, when they come off of pit road, the ones that pitted will come out in the same order, but tag in behind those 4 cars that you see that did not pit. Drew Dollar not going to give up the track position to come in, nor is the 18 of Colin Garrett. Connor Hall staying out, as is Mason Diaz, who was involved in that yellow flag. So stopping the cars now on the back straightaway, letting the cars go to work here. We have a couple of minutes. They can go to work. I know they're going to be working hard on that 4. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with him as they come back. But just want to let everybody know that the ARCA Series, the Menards ARCA Series now returns to Florida on Saturday, March 9th at Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola. That'll be their second event of the season. That'll be Saturday, March 9th for the ARCA Menards Series. The Pensacola 200 presented by Inspectra Thermal Solutions. So if you guys are local or in the area, you might want to think about heading up there to watch the ARCA Series make their return to Pensacola.
Well, you know, interestingly enough, before the competition yellow came out of the racetrack, the number 16 machine of Derek Rouse was the quickest car on the racetrack. That's kind of interesting. Bill McNally owned the car, one of the powerhouse teams in the K&N West Series this past season of competition, and now we see a lot of work still going on that number 4 car. It appeared to be a brake situation because literally the center of the wheel was completely full of smoke lap after lap.
That's right.
He was able to pull it back off and stay out of harm's way. But what is really interesting is the 4 cars that set on the back stretch, because those cars have made their decision and have chose to stay out of the racetrack, and among them being the 31 car of Connor Hall. Now, why is that so interesting? Because the 31 machine, as we both know, has been a huge factor.
So, Ben, those 4 cars that stayed out must feel really good about their stuff. Now, the 24, Mason Diaz, that's the one that interests me the most because, again, he was involved in that caution. He must feel like he needs the track position to be competitive here tonight, or he feels that the team did what they needed to do after the yellow to make sure he was good to go. So very interesting turn of events here. I told you folks these competition cautions were really going to mix things up, and we're going to have to see if the 4-car can get that problem fixed. It was very interesting watching him come down the straightaway because, as Ben said, the smoke was right there pouring out of the center of the wheel. It's unusual to see a car smoke that heavily like that. That's definitely a first for me.
You know, it is very interesting. I want to remind everybody that the K&N West Series NBC Sports broadcast time will be on February 16th at midnight. So you'll want to check that out as well. So that little bit of a side note there going on as well. On the backstretch area, car number 18 sets over there, and that is Colin Garrett out of Virginia in the Emery Toyota machine. That car was very, very strong at times. And about 10 minutes remaining, the NASCAR officials are telling us in the background. 2 minutes now, we're being told. In the background is the number 1 machine. First of the cars to head back out, Max McLaughlin, with that black number 1 car. Minor adjustments made on that on pit road. The number 5 machine, the hood is still up on that car. Car number 17 comes back out for Ty Gibbs out of Charlotte, North Carolina. The 15 machine will follow for Tanner Gray. And then the number 20 machine also for Anthony Sergi will make it out rather quickly. But there is not a lot of quick work going on in that number 4 car, Ryan, and we can see they're working, but not as feverishly as we anticipated because time is of the essence.
Time is running out,
that car out.
Absolutely. Hopefully they'll be able to get that car fixed and back out there because he has a good piece here tonight. He's been a contender. Now remember, there's no race off pit road, ladies and gentlemen. They will come out, line up the order they came onto pit road. They will just line up behind those who did not pit. So these teams may take all the time they need. We got a couple getting pushed down. Haley Deegan and the 22 of Oakley there getting pushed down pit road. Haley Deegan's had trouble getting that car fired all day long. We saw that early drama in her just getting that car to staging. So she's going to get a push start back out there. But again, no race off pit road. These guys can use all the time to try to get these cars right. They'll line them up in the order they came back off. Now, a couple minutes here, and we will be green. Good opportunity to quickly run to the bathroom, grab something to eat if you haven't. We'd also like to thank some of our track sponsors here at New Smyrna. Big shout out to Wheelin' as they sponsor the Wheelin' All-American Series that we run here pretty much each and every Saturday night from March through October, along with O'Reilly Auto Parts, Kicks Country 98.7, Daytona Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Skips Boots. Skips has been with us for a lot of years. We couldn't do all of this without the help from Skips and all of our other sponsors, along with Bruce Rossmeyer's Harley Davidson in New Smyrna. We have a ton of partners here, including Spring Hill Suites Marriott if you need a place to stay. Also Hampton Inn, the sponsor of our Victory Lane. And big shout out to Super Spray Pressure Wash as well for helping us get this place cleaned up. So we're going to extend the break here a little bit. I'm told we have a possible weeper down in turn number 1. We've had a lot of rain in the area both on Saturday and Sunday throughout the day and throughout the night. So potential weeper down there in turn number 1. NASCAR officials down there taking a look at it. They'll get it swept up, cleaned up, and we'll be back to go. But extending this caution by just a couple minutes to make sure the track is in good condition so that we can go back green. Shouldn't take too long. So it might be an extra chance for you all to stretch your legs and get ready to finish this one off.
This is going to work to the advantage of the car that needed some extra time in the situation here on the right rear tire. Being adjusted as the number 22 machine for Brandon Oakley. Also needing the assistance of the push to get pushed off is car number 5 still sets, and work continues for Juan's machine with the number 5 car.
And Ben, a report that we just got, the 4-car potentially broke a rear end. So you can see the team still working down there. We're hopeful that they can get it resolved and get it back out there, or else it'll be a heartbreak for the 4 of Chase Cabri. Very fast early, and maybe this extra break going to help them out. If that is a broken rear end, though, they are going to have a tough night ahead of them.
Certainly are, and of course it appears that the 2 cars of the casualty, and of course we saw earlier The number 87 machine for Chuck Buchanan was out early, already pulled behind the wall. The hood is up on that car, so he is several laps down. The cars are starting to move again. The official Dodge Challenger pace car with the wheel and lights beneath it from Daytona Dodge quickly fires back up. 65 laps up on the board. And the number 5 machine not able to get back at this particular point. One at the line they're calling from. And down the back straightaway, you can see the number 22 machine. Oakley does finally get it fired back up.
So then the field lined back up after those pit stops in the position that they were running when they came onto the pits behind the 4 that stayed out. So let's reset the field. The 18, Colin Garrett, will line up on the inside, but he's the second place car. So Drew Dollar, the race leader, electing to restart again on that outside lane, the preferred group. Then you have Connor Hall in the 31. Mason Diaz up there in that 24. Big strategy move for that team to get up there. Then you have the 15, Tanner Gray alongside his teammate in the 17, Ty Gibbs. Then it's Derek Kraus. I told you guys, keep your eye on that 16. He's been very fast out here. Then you have the 6 car rounding out the top 10, Ruben Garcia Jr. as the Daytona Dodge pace car gets ready to bring the field back to green. Flagman looks him over, backs him down nice and tight as they come down the front straightaway. Green flag is back in the air with 67 laps now in the books. Down into turn number 1, the inside lane has the jump by a car length right now. Drew Dollar up on that outside. This time it's the inside lane that's going to prevail going into turn number 3. Here comes Connor Hall. He wants the inside of the 54 of Dollar. Things mixing up at the front. Another race leader, the 18, Colin Garrett, goes up on lap 68.
Meanwhile, that's been happening as the battle rages for second. The 31 drops to the inside of the racetrack. Can't do it quite. Pulls back into line. 5 cars, bumper to bumper, nose to tail. They come off the turn and back down to the line. It's still the number 18. Colin Garrett continues to dominate the racing action. Good battle there. Meanwhile, look at the battle for the 3rd spot. Here comes the number 31 machine. Making its magic, Connor Hall. A late model ace from Virginia. Showing his talent. While the number 24 machine is all over him from Mason Diaz. Diaz is right there as well. Diaz continues to work his magic as they head down into turn number 3.
That 24 car of Diaz really holding on right now. Mason Diaz actually wants the 3rd spot. Remember, he made a big strategy move to get himself up in here. Now, battling the 31 of Connor Hall, trying to take over that spot. Here comes the 4. Chase Cabri back into action. A couple of laps down, though. He's lost at least 3, maybe 4 laps. Here's a battle to the inside. Here comes Ty Gibbs. He wants the 4th spot away from Mason Diaz. Diaz, white number 24, outside. And then the 17, Ty Gibbs, black and red on the inside. Diaz, strategy move to get up here. Now drops back to 5th. He'd been impressive these first couple laps. Here comes Connor Hall with a run. Hall wants the 2nd spot. Dives deep into turn number 3 on the inside. Washes up the racetrack. Dollar gives him the room and should be able to hold off. A little bit of a battle back behind Aaron Krause. Sam Mayer going for position. And now everybody files back in to single file formation.
Well, there's still plenty of time left. 73 laps up on the big board, and it looks like a strong battle still shaping up for that 3rd position. Meanwhile, the number 31 machine still holding on, and that is Connor Hall. Connor Hall is the number 17, right there on his back bumper. Ty Gibbs might be considered the surprise in this event. Gibbs runs in the 4th spot among the quickest cars of the racetrack. Remember who stayed out and who used pit strategy to their advantage. 75 laps as they cross the stripe, this time by.
Right now, here comes the 17. Back to the inside of Connor Hall. Ty Gibbs wants the 3rd spot away from Hall. He's got a good run on him here going into turn number 3. Now the 17, he's clear of Connor Hall. Hall going to try to fight back using that momentum upstairs. He was not quite able to clear, and now battle on for 3rd. Still continuing to be side by side. Connor Hall in the 31 upstairs. Ty Gibbs on the bottom, trying to get to this 3rd spot as the 18, Colin Garrett, continues to scoot away with the lead. Once again in turn number 4, the 17, he has position, but he cannot clear him. That gives the top lane to the 31 of Connor Hall. Connor Hall finally gives up and goes back to 4th. Going to try the door and holds on to that third spot.
There's no question about it. The battle is for third. Meanwhile, the 31 takes a peek at it, tries to move to the inside. The engine but not enough giddy up to get the job done. Meanwhile, Ty Gibbs still setting in that third spot. Here is the challenge again. Car number 31 right there on the back bumper. It is Connor Hall all over it, looking high, looking low. Now he's forced to back out of it just a bit as they come back to the stripe. That is the hot spot, as now the 17 of Ty Gibbs is trying to literally shake off the number 31 car. But will it be enough as he starts to apply the pressure to our second place car with 79 laps now complete?
This time by it'll be 80 laps in the books. The 18, Colin Garrett, impressive run. He continues to lead. He took the lead away from the inside lane on the restart. Again, the leader gets lane choice. He went upstairs, and we've seen it kind of switch. We got a battle further back between the 99 and the 74 as everybody right now single file in front of them. That's the best battle on the racetrack. Haley Deegan trying to get in there. Right now, everybody riding. They know they have a competition caution. 125. However, that's 45 laps away from now. So these guys need to get position because they can't really gain anything off of pit road. So battle on the racetrack is where it's going to be.
Here comes that number 31 car again. He just does not give up on Ty Gibbs. Meanwhile, turn further back in the field. What a battle. We talked about this car being among the quickest cars early in the event. Garrett Klaus with that number 16, the Napa Auto Parts car, is now starting to thread the needle through traffic. In a side-by-side battle, all of a sudden, it is a great battle going on right there with 5 cars contending, and the loser there appears to be car number 6, but not for long.
And here comes Anthony Sergi, the 6 car. Garcia getting freight trained up on the outside. Anthony Sergi moves up a spot. The 6 car dropping back like a rock there on that outside lane. Seems to be good for the restarts, but all the passing on the bottom. Battle of the ladies. We got Brittany and Haley battling for position further back. And now, just as I say that, everybody gets back into single file formation. The 18, Colin Garrett, continuing to pull away with a race lead. Then you have 3 cars under a blanket for second. Back to Mason Diaz there in the 24. Mason Diaz, I'm sorry. Then you got the 18, Tanner Gray, Derek Kraus, 21, Sam Mayer, and Anthony Sergi. Here comes Brandon McReynolds by the 6 car. Ruben Garcia continues to drop through the field.
There's no question about it. Brandon McReynolds is really starting to come to life with that black and neon number 74 car. Back up to the front of the field, bid for the 3rd spot. Here comes the number 31 again. That, of course, is Connor Hall. Hall down underneath. They cut it. They come off turn number 4. Work their magic back to the line, and the number 54 of Blue Dollar is still right there contending. Almost had it, but not quite enough. Further back in the field, things are getting settled in. 87 this time. The cross flags are in the air, halfway down and halfway to go.
Halfway home for the 18, Colin Garrett. New second place man in town, the 17 of Ty Gibbs. As Chase Cabri has come back on the racetrack, still slow, so definitely big time trouble on the rear end of that car. But right now, 88 complete, 4 cars again breaking away. And it's the 31 of Hall back there in 4th, stalking the back bumper of early leader, the 54 Drew Dollar. Now Ty Gibbs trying to catch this 18. He's got plenty of time to reel him in before the next competition caution. After that, I think the real race is going to start because everybody knows what they have and the aggression will pick up. This reminds me of a long race at Daytona. Sit back, wait for things to develop, and then when it's go time, everything goes out the window. And right now, that's how it's shaping up to be. Again, next competition caution coming in 35 laps. We'll see if the 17 has enough time to catch the 18 up at the front.
You know, it almost appears like his strategy has been just to ride it out and run close enough, but not to be a contender or a factor. They've worked their magic, single file, further back to the field. There's a great battle going on between 3 automobiles just out at the bottom of the top 5. That seems to be the hot spot on the racetrack. As, again, the Napa car appears to be among the quickest cars. Bottom shot move. Here's a pass. Coming off turn number 4 to the inside as they rumble down to the flat. Car number 15 working its magic. Tanner Gray has moved up a spot, and he continues to try to shake him off as they head down the back straightaway.
And here comes the 16, Derek Kraus, to the inside of Mason Diaz as well. Diaz now finally starting to drop back. He had taken advantage of that strategy move that got him up to fourth, but now beginning to get Freight Train on the outside. Kraus on the 16, trading paint with him through 1 and 2. Sam Mayer laying in the weeds, waiting for an opportunity to try to get into this battle as well. Derek Kraus in the 16 has the position. Diaz now has to deal with Sammy Mayer. Here comes Mayer, the youngster on the bottom. Runner-up in the super late model track points here during the World Series last year. Now on to K&N. And trying to make his way through the field. Here comes the 15. The 15 car inside of Connor Hall. Hall's going to let him go. So move the 31 back to 5th. Kraus, we're going to try to fill the hole. They touch. A little bit of contact there. Everybody keeps it straight. We stay under green. But the aggression, as they know, stage break coming up shortly, is beginning to pick up. Here comes Mayer inside of Kraus.
There's no question about it. That seems to be where the action is. And the number 18 machine that looked so strong for Colin Garrett just a few laps ago, all of a sudden is being hunted down by Sam Mayer with the number 21 machine. They're side by side as they work their magic to the bottom of turn number 1. The 31 car becomes the next car in the act. Remember, car number 31 did not pit during the last competition pit stop. 96 laps are complete and up for the board. No one has been able to come anywhere near the Colin Garrett machine. And car number 18 has been so strong at the front of the field. And the number 17 machine has been right there close. The 17 is 1/10 faster per lap. So he is starting to gain in the competition here.
Now, Ben, we're seeing those cars that did not pit begin to struggle, except for the 18. The 18 able to hold his ground up front, but the 31 Connor Hall, Mason Diaz 24 beginning to drop. Also, the 54 is now under pressure from Tanner Gray. And how about Sam Mayer flying up through the field into the top 5? A lot of comers and goers, like we said. Here comes Mayer, turned it right down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's got to run, trying to break up this DJR Crosley train in turn number 1. Mayer to the inside of Tanner Gray.
Doing a good job. He tries to make it hold down to the bottom of the racetrack. They're side by side and pretty much evenly matched as they come off turn number 4. Who's going to have when they cross this line? It's the 21 by a fraction for Sam Mayer out of Wisconsin. Mayer now right there still digging in, trying to get the job done. He just can't do it. 100 laps are now complete in this 175 lap event. Further back in the field, we see a lot. We're running a little bit off the pace a few laps ago. Now coming to life, like the number 74 for Brandon McReynolds. McReynolds is coming to life as the 31 continues to slip further back in the field.
Connor Hall beginning to drop like a rock. Haley Deegan, Anthony Sergi get by. Here comes Brittany Zamara now trying to get by as well. Remember, that 31 car did not pit, and it's starting to hurt him as the 31 way up the racetrack, dropping back. Now this next competition caution that's coming up could really set the tone for the final 50 laps. You'd have to think everybody's going to want to stop. The 18 trying to hold on to the lead. He's been the only one to really hold his position, but he's going to have company from Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs moving in. He is, like Ben said, about a 10th a second or a lap quicker than this 18. We'll see if he has time to get around him. 103. It'll be 104 laps complete this time by Ty Gibbs right now. Fastest car on the speedway.
As they work their magic back to the line, it appears now that the 21 machine is really coming to life. Brandon McReynolds also spots for Noah Granson, who drives in the Nascar Truck Series. There's a lot of history there. Now look at him make the move to the bottom. Turn number 3, inside shot, the black and neon machine. McReynolds looking racy as they come up. And McReynolds has now picked up the spot. That will move McReynolds into contention to the bottom of the top 10, but they're not giving up. There's still a side-by-side battle, Ryan, as they work their magic. 106 as they come back to the stripe.
And I think that 74 car is the one who's benefited the most from that competition caution early in the run. Not really a factor, but as he moves by Mason Diaz, he is closing in on these leaders. He's got Derek Kraus up in front of him as Sam Mayer back under the attack of the 15 of Tanner Gray. Side-by-side battle for 4th, and now the 74 and the 16 trying to get there, but how about the 21? He gets clear of the 15. So
There's no
moves Sammy Mayer up to 4th.
Mayer now continues to impress people as he continues to work his magic. He might have been event. And he continues to run a much tighter line at the bottom of the racetrack. Car number 21, Sam Mayer, is working his magic to come off the turn and back to the side. The number 54 machine has been strong for Drew Dollar. But will he have enough giddy up as the number 21 car, Mayer, is right there. Look at Mayer just reel him in down to turn 3.
What a rocket ship off of turn 2 for Sam Mayer. He and Ty Gibbs might have the best cars at this point. However, that competition caution again going to mix things up. But now what we're seeing is those who pitted really starting to come towards the front. The 54 did not pit. The only one who I'm very impressed with right now, Ben, is the 18, Colin Garrett. He got to the lead, has not given
look
up.
at
Here's
this
the battle
bit.
from teammates.
Meanwhile, side-by-side racing action as they come off the turn. Two teammates continue to slice and dice. The 15 and the 54 go at it as Tanner Gray continues to try to hold on. But will he be able to get the job done? The 21. Once he went by, Sam Mayer has worked up to the top 3. 4th and 5th position as they rumble back to the stripe. Off the turn.
Sideways for the 15.
And that works to the advantage of the Napa Auto Parts machine for Derek Kraus. Kraus is now moved into contention. He is flying on the upper side of this racetrack.
Derek Kraus wants the 5th position away from that 15 to Tanner Gray. You can see the brake rotors glowing on that 15 as he's trying to drive the wheels off of it. Derek Kraus, like you said, man, up into contention. Now the 54 car has moved up the racetrack, trying to block the advances of Derek Kraus. Kraus now battling with Gray, setting his sights on Dollar as Ty Gibbs in the 17, who's ever closer on the 18 of Colin Garrett up at the front. 114 laps complete on 11 until we reach the next break.
We know we haven't seen much of a challenge at the point, but we have seen a tremendous battle for the 4th and the 5th position. Lap after lap, they continue to run door handle to door handle as they make their presence known. While that's been happening, the number 18 of Colin Garrett is right there. Now Garrett's going to look to the outside of car number 15. Tanner Gray continues to try to hold on, but it is the 18 car that is looking to make the move. Colin Garrett all over him. Now taps into the back bumper. Lets him know he's there as they rumble back to the line off turn number 4. Here comes the Napa Auto Parts machine. And who's the tail that wags the dog there? Brandon McReynolds is right there with him. I think you're surprised at that, Ryan. Because all of a sudden, he really starts to come to life.
That 74 has come to life over this run. We got a battle for the lead coming to life at the front. Ty Gibbs has reeled in Colin Garrett. Under 10 laps to the break. We'll have to see if he can get by as the middle of the field really getting competitive now. McReynolds underneath the 15 and Tanner Gray. Derek Kraus still battling with the 54 of Dollar. Sam Mayer stuck as the meat and the sandwich of all this battle, trying to get away from the cars behind him and trying to catch the 2 leaders. He's really going to look forward to this stage break. I think he'll be a contender as right now. Looks like the 17, the 18, and 21. At the 16, Derek Kraus in there as well. Those guys looking for the class of the field. But we'll have to see how this final stage shakes out. Come to complete lap 119. Should be 6 laps away from the next break. That's going to turn this race even more on its head.
Meanwhile, the racing action is still good right there at the bottom of the top 10. Nobody is giving an inch of the racetrack there in the competition here. Down the back straightaway, pulling out a line, making his presence known to the bottom of the racetrack. It's the number 19. Haley Deegan has come back to life. All of a sudden, she was off the pace earlier, and now she takes the bottom shot. They almost come together as they work their magic and they thunder down the back straightaway.
Here comes Derek Kraus in that 16. He's got to look underneath the 54. Derek Kraus, the blue 16. Drew Dollar, the black and gray 54. They battle side by side as the laps wind down before this next break. Sam Mayer not really able to get away from these guys. He may have to deal with this 16. Kraus underneath the 54, all the way to the wall, almost making contact as they go into 3. Kraus still on the bottom. Dollar will not go away on that outside groove. Trading paint again off corner number 4. Kraus in the 16, Dollar in the 54. They are battling behind the race leaders for the 4th spot. And up front, as the 16 gets by the 54 off of 2, up front, Colin Garrett extending the lead. We got a spin. Around is the 99. And we got trouble. Caution is out. The 99 has gone around in 1 and 2 right before
flag comes out, 123 up on the board. It is for a minor spin that takes place underneath the jet billboard between turns 1 and 2. We'll reset the field for you in just a moment. There's no question about it. The number 18 machine of Colin Garrett has been coming on exceptionally strong, and the number 74 for Brandon McReynolds has also been threading the traffic rather nicely through the field. Looks like a minor spin, and they will check the racing surface, and then we would be close to that point, and we'll see what's going to happen as once again the safety services crew check out the racetrack to make sure that everything is ideal and okay. Remember, we've still got a lot of great racing action left.
We'll check in with NASCAR here and see if this will end up being the caution. We're going to roll under caution to the lap 125 mark. So I would imagine this will be the caution, but we will check with race officials to be sure. But this would be the final competition stage break caution. So we'll have to see how this mixes up the field, because it certainly did during that last segment.
It certainly did. And of course, we saw competitors that chose to stay out during the last segue, and all of a sudden, by staying out, they begin to back up in the competition. Caution still remains out as they cross the stripe.
Ben just got confirmation this will end up being the competition caution. Once we get the field where they need to be, got to get the 99 Brittany back into place here. Safety crews again down in turn number 1, just checking the racing surface. Again, a lot of water trapped potentially underneath the racetrack, but has not caused any problems. But this will be the final competition caution once the field is in order and they open up pit lane. I would imagine, Ben, now they're going to probably prove me wrong, but I would imagine that everybody's going to come down, make those final adjustments. But maybe we see some cars at the back of the field. Maybe Spencer Davis, Anthony Sergi, maybe Max McLaughlin, Haley Deegan, something like that. Try to get up near the front, because we saw cars hang on for a while through that segment. This one only going to be 50 laps, so somebody might be able to hang on and hold these guys off.
Well, you know, there's no question that the competitors that did not come in during the last competition yellow are definitely going to have to come in on this one, because they need to make those adjustments. They've got more laps on those tires, and it is definitely going to be a huge pick and choose time in this event. 125 laps down in pit road. First car is in is the 19. The number 82 will be the second car in for Spencer Davis. The 31 car that stayed out on the last time around is now coming in, the Viking machine. That was one of the cars that we noticed that stayed out. The number 99 machine for Brittany Zamora, also down in pit road. The number 19 car, Haley Deegan, down there. They're checking underneath the hood of that race car as well. And the number 20 of Anthony Sergi, also down at pit road. Kind of surprising. We expected more cars to be down at pit road, and that is not the case with 50 circuits remaining in this K&N special event.
It's funny, Ben, the cars that I thought might stay out to try to gain track position are the ones that came in. So that just shows you never know what the drivers are thinking. But apparently the cars at the front of the field, like Colin Garrett, the 17 Ty Gibbs, Sam Mayer, they feel like their piece is good enough to go the distance here, so they are not going to stop. So not going to shake the field too much here on pit road, but we saw a lot of comers and goers there. The tires are going to cool down. Nerves are going to pick up. Aggression going to pick up, because it's going to be a 50-lap shootout to the finish. So this race, by no means are we giving to the 18, 17, 21. Maybe it's the 74. Maybe it's the 1. Maybe it's somebody else. This has been kind of an unpredictable, topsy-turvy, yet clean race for the most part.
It certainly has. And, you know, I think one of the big factors is go back to when we had the last competition yellow. If you remember that came out in the round lap number 65, 63, and now count the laps up to 125, you'll discover that these teams have been calculating exactly what their times are and how well the cars have been running during the actual competition to get to this particular point. Now, when you do the little bit of a math and figure it out, you discover there is 50 circuits remaining if the event goes green from start to finish from 125 on.
report coming in, they're replacing the alternator on the 19 car of Hailie Deegan, so you have to wonder how much that's factored into the struggles of that car. So Hailie Deegan's team under the hood there replacing the alternator. As Anthony Sergi completes his work on pit road, he'll be able to rejoin the race, as is the 31 of Connor Hall, who did not pit under that last caution, and it did cost that team. They ran so well early on and dropped back through the field. So as we get ready to finish up this break here, I want to thank a couple of our other sponsors. Of course, American Auto, one of our biggest sponsors here at New Smyrna Speedway. They sponsor our American Auto Sportsman Division, which we will see here in action next weekend, both Friday and Saturday night. EJ Wilcoxon from American Auto, he is our pace car driver, and he does so much, not only for this racetrack, but for that American Auto Sportsman Division to make it one of the most popular and biggest divisions that we have here. Big shout out to New Hampshire Motor Speedway, their full throttle weekend at New Hampshire coming up September 20th through the 21st. They're going to have Whelen Tour Mods. They're going to have K&N Series. They're going to have the Canadian Series that runs. A whole bunch of good stuff. Real grassroots racing up there, especially for that Musket 250. That's the big prize there. So if you find yourself in the New Hampshire, New England area, September 20th through the 21st, you're definitely going to want to check that out. Big shout out to Off the Hook Bar and Grill. They've been the sponsor there of our new party deck that we're working on over there. So big thank you to all of our sponsors, track sponsors, contingency sponsors. Big shout out to VP Racing Fuel. That's the official fuel of New Smyrna Speedway. Without all of our partners, none of this would be possible here tonight.
Well, it looks like car number 19 is going to need the assistance of the push. They're checking the racing surface down to the bottom of turns 1 and 2, the NASCAR officials. And once they get the confirmation, they'll continue to fire them back up, and we should be ready to resume for the final 50 in this event.
The alternator issue would explain why that car doesn't want to start. They're getting the push there to Hailie Deegan. That'll be the last car off pit road.
And all of a sudden,
still looking down there.
Back up.
So the call down from the tower, cars beginning to roll on the back straightaway, getting ready to prepare for the final 50 laps. It's Colin Garrett in the 18, the race leader. Second is the 17 of Ty Gibbs. Sam Mayer, a great run up to third. Then it's the 16, Derek Krause. I've had my eye on him all race, methodically working his way up inside the top 5. Then rounding out the top 5, the 54, Drew Dollar. Another player coming into view now in the 74. You have Brandon McReynolds. And it's Tanner Gray in the 15. Mason Diaz in the 24. Max McLaughlin, number 1. Brandon Oakley in the 22. Hailie Deegan, Anthony Sergi, Spencer Davis, Connor Hall, Ruben Garcia, and then the 99 of Brittany Zamara, who brought out the recent yellow. That's how they're going to stack up, line up, and get ready to go for the final 50-lap segment. As the lights are already down on the Daytona Dodge Pace car, we're getting set to go back to green flag racing, Ben.
We certainly are. You got to keep your eyes on that Sam Mayer with that number 21 machine, because he was so strong at threading the needle. That 18 car, the Napa Auto Parts car, has also been exceptionally strong for Colin Garrett. That was the quickest car. Remember, early we had a clock on that car, and it was among the quickest cars on the racetrack. And don't count out the 74 of Brandon McReynolds, because he's come from the back of the pack as well. Lights are off on the safety vehicle from Whelen Engineering. Starter looks the field over as they come off turn number 4. Addresses the field, green flag in hand.
Hailie Deegan coming to a stop there in turns 3 and 4, man. Probably going to come right back out. Hailie Deegan's car out of power, and there's the caution. Caution right back out there even before we can get going. Hailie Deegan's car shut down in between 3 and 4. Tough break for the pole sitter.
That is a situation. It kind of originated right from the start of the event.
It sure
Couldn't
did.
get the car started. Then all of a sudden they were able to get it started. And it appears that an alternator or something in the electrical system has forced that car to be out of contention. So the wrecker will go and assist and push that car either down to pit road, and we'll be ready to resume. But it was a crucial situation right at the start. As they went green, all of a sudden the car just died and literally stopped on the racetrack itself. But what a roller coaster night it has been for that talented driver, starting up front on the pole, choosing to start in the outside to take advantage of that, getting pushed off from pit road initially, getting pushed off the last time, and now it is taking the long push to be headed to what appears to be down in pit road or back behind the wall in the Power Monster Energy drink number 19 car.
They were trying to get her to turn down pit road, but I think she wants to stay out there and get that car refired, trying to get these gremlins worked out to finish this race. But Ben, we saw this develop in the pre-race as they were pushing the field to the front straightaway. We noticed her car stop over there off of turn number 2, and it's been drama all day for Hailie Deegan. She started off leading the first few laps, as you mentioned, and then dropped back through the field, and you just have to wonder how much this alternator issue has played into that, if that's the reason the car was underpowered. Obviously, it's the problem that we're seeing now with that car refiring, but just how much of that factored into the struggles throughout the race, we yet to find out. But here she comes down pit road, Hailie Deegan, bringing the Monster Energy number 19 off the racetrack, and they're going to give him one to go at the line, as 129 laps have now gone on to the scoreboard. It'll be 130 this time by.
Well, there's no question about it. They continue to come over the wall and check the number 19 machine, and it looks like they're going to push it out of the way there, because we are at 130 of 175, and this is just the beginning. Remember, following the conclusion to this event, we've still got our other divisions of competition as a part of this evening's program.
Next up will be the Pro Late Model Division. So after the K&N Pro E Series, the Pro Lates will take to the racetrack. One of 4 remaining races to come, but we are getting ready to restart the New Smyrna 175 here at New Smyrna Speedway. And race leader Colin Garrett in the 18 has gone back upstairs. He's going to restart on the outside lane. Ty Gibbs in that 17 on the inside. Daytona Dodge pace car off the speedway. Starter looks him over, gives him the green flag. Back underway the 16 of Derek Krause to the 18 of Garrett. Will the outside work to his benefit? He's got the 16 pushing him. They're dead even off turn number 2. Ty Gibbs with a good launch off of 2. Even again down into turn number 3. 18 upstairs, 17 downstairs. Mashing together through the corner. Who's going to get back to the line? Give that lap to Ty Gibbs in the 17.
There's no question about it. Ty Gibbs works his magic on the inside lane. They swap a little paint as they head down the back straightaway. position before it regained and came on strong. And on the last competition yellow, we kind of predicted that he was going to be a factor. We were quite surprised how strong that he became and how quickly he became that strong as he worked his magic to get back towards the front of the field. But there's no question about it. Outside or inside, traditionally the story here from the new Smyrna Speedway is the outside lane is the way to go. Now, what will be the strategy? You might think it would be obvious, but that is not necessarily going to be the case.
One restart, Ben, it's been the inside. The next, it's been the outside. It's going to be a guessing game, and, you know, I would not want to be the one having to make that decision because that could ultimately be what wins or loses a race for any particular driver. We don't know when the last restart is going to be, so every one going to be just as important. So Derek Kraus, who has worked his way up through the field, I've had my eye on him in that 16 Bill McAnally racing machine, Napa Auto Parts car. Watching him get up through there. Now he took advantage of a wild scramble from the race leaders to get up through there. Lettering rubbed off that right front tire, but it appears to be okay. Now everybody's going to take a deep breath. Gear back up to get going. I would imagine we'll be back to green here in another lap or two as I get the 15 back around the leaders and to the tail of the field. It is the 16 of Derek Kraus, the race leader. And you have the 17, Ty Gibbs, 74, Brandon McReynolds, Colin Garrett in the 18, and Mason Diaz having a great run, really impressing me tonight, holding on to that fifth spot ahead of Sam Mayer. Then you have Drew Dollar, Anthony Sergi, the local guy, hanging around the top 10, Max McLaughlin. Spencer Davis has worked his way up there as well in the 82.
Well, here we go. Once again, 141 continues to show up on the board as they work their way back to the start-finish line. The curve number 16 machine. McReynolds has had a very strong and consistent run as well, along with that 18 of Colin Garrett. Garrett started, as we said, up front. He drifted back to about the 12th or 13th position. Then all of a sudden he came back to life, and he has been a huge factor throughout the event. So the clock is still ticking here as they continue to check the racing surface itself to make sure that everything is okay, because it is a shootout right down to the wire.
That's right. It is going to be a shootout, and as each lap clicks away, we get one lap closer to the finish, and we've already seen the aggression pick up here in this final stage, and I would imagine as we get closer to 175, it's all going to go out the window. The patience is gone. They are going for the win. Everybody wants to end up right there in Hampton Inn victory lane here at Smyrna Speedway to kick off the K&N Pro East Series. Ruben Garcia brings the 6 car down the pit lane as the field begins to double up behind the Daytona Dodge pace car. That beautiful new wrap on that machine. So Garcia coming down pit road to the attention of his crew. Not going to make it back out there for this restart, I would imagine. And look at this, Ben, the 16 of Kraus goes upstairs. He's going to restart on the outside, giving Ty Gibbs the lane on the bottom.
Well, we actually thought that was going to be the choice, and we kind of called it right as they worked their way off the turn, look for the pace car to dive to the bottom of pit road, and it looks like it is going to be the story, and there is McReynolds. Yep, all makes a bold move to the bottom. It just doesn't pay off, but to the top side of the racetrack, here comes the 18 of Colin Garrett. Garrett making his presence known, side-by-side racing, not only for row number 2, but row number 3.
And that 16 car got a great restart. The 16 car, no stranger to victory lane here at New Smyrna Speedway. We've seen a win here with Tom Gilliland behind the wheel. Now Derek Kraus up at the front, and he's got a new second place man. The 18, Colin Garrett, getting back into the picture. Ty Gibbs falls back to the 3rd spot. Sam Mayer trying to take that 4th spot as he has a battle with Brandon McReynolds. Everybody trying to get single file. Mayer getting a little sideways. He clears the 74. Everybody single file trying to click off some laps.
Sam Mayer's got those yellow rookie stripes on the back of his race car, but you wouldn't know it by the performance that he has been turning in here in the competition here. McReynolds now works his magic to the inside, down underneath the Mayer machine, can't do it. That is the battle for the 4th and 5th spot. Meanwhile, back up to position number 2, while the leader is literally gone at the front of the field.
Sam Mayer holds off the challenge again from McReynolds. Big lead now for Derek Kraus. We thought he had one of the best cars. Patiently worked his way through traffic. Took advantage of the wild scramble at the front, and now trying to drive away and lead
muscle at the front of the field. Further back in the field, just at the bottom of the top 5, there's still that good battle going on with the number 21 of Sam Mayer. Mayer
Spin around goes the 99 once again here, Ben. Oh, and she catches the tail end of the 15 to Tanner Gray. There's another yellow flag. Just when it looked like Darren Krause was trying to run away with the field, they're going to catch right back up to him. The 99, Brittany goes around again, catches Tanner Gray just a little bit, but another minor spin here in this event. But the yellow going to come out with 158 laps now complete. Coming down to the tail end of this one, 17 laps to go for Darren Krause. He showed he has the muscle, Ben, but now going to bunch him back up. We know how the restarts can change everything.
It certainly can, and of course, remember now, he has chosen the outside every time, and it's worked full to his advantage. But the number 17 machine for Ty Gibbs has been a huge factor. Now, Gibbs has been holding off the opposition, and that, of course, has been the number 18 machine of Colin Garrett, and Garrett has been a huge factor there. Then we went back a little bit. Then we saw the McReynolds team, which is holding off the number 21. And you've got to give credit where credit is due, that Sam Mayer from Franklin, Wisconsin, has been very strong and very consistent with that number 21 car. Then it's a 24 directly behind them. Now, that 24 car has been a factor throughout this event at many given times as the laps are continuing to tick away, 159 of 175.
And Ben, this is just the first of 5 races coming your way. After this, the Pro Late Model Division will stage and get ready to go for 35 laps tonight. The Florida Open Wheel Modifieds will go 35 laps after that. After our brief Budweiser intermission, the Tour Type Modifieds make their World Series debut for 2019 with a big 50-lap contest. Then it'll be the super late models, the Thunder and Lightning of New Smyrna Speedway, that will close out the program. So still a full card of action-packed racing coming your way after the conclusion of this one. Another lap under caution here. It'll be 15 laps to go now. The 16 of Krause. 16 of Krause, the race leader, knows the laps are ticking down, but he knows he's got fast cars behind him. Ty Gibbs, Colin Garrett, they've been up there all day long, but you got to wonder about that 74 of McReynolds.
You certainly do, and of course he started way in the back of the pack, and nobody knew what to anticipate because of the fact that these competitors did not get to time trial because of the weather conditions and everything else. They used literally their time in almost a group timing effort to determine where they would start in the event. So nobody had the story come down and shake out to the way that actually was. So 160 laps still under yellow as they head off turn number 4. As 15 circuits, less than 15 now, 14 circuits remaining.
So laps continuing to click away here under this yellow flag. The 99 car was still sitting down there over in 3 and 4, hiding behind some of the vehicles down there in the Super.
Moro's car, that of course, and we were told that that the 99 machine, the driver wanted to drive it back down in pit road, and the wrecker was trying to hitch up to it, but all of a sudden they did bring it back down. Another one of the Napa-sponsored cars. They're looking at the front end of that race car.
And Ben, we could see the damage as she pulled it down to pit road. Remember, she clipped the back end of the 15 as he came by. It could have been a lot worse than it was, but this 99 team has had a tough day here today. Got to wonder if they'll be able to get that car repaired and out there to finish off these last couple of laps. So they're going to go at least another lap of yellow here as safety crews clear the racetrack over there in 3 and 4. Didn't even realize she was still sitting down there, but that is the reason for the extended caution as Brandon Oakley brings the 22 to the attention of his crew.
Well, the number 22 has definitely had its share of problems throughout the event. The number 99 machine, we're receiving information that damage was done, some fluid that came to the racetrack. And it looks like the number 99 is all done due to the fact that it might have punctured something, a radiator hose or something underneath the hood of that machine. So car number 99 will set stranded 162 of 175, and we have still a full race program still left to be run.
And Ben, very fitting that a Toyota right now pacing the field. Big shout out to David Moss Toyota, one of our big sponsors here at New Smyrna Speedway. Toyota's running 1-2 right now behind a parade of Chevrolets and then the Ford of Mason Diaz. So pretty much parity amongst the top 6 or 7 cars, but we'll see if Toyota can make it all the way to victory lane. Again, big thank you to all of our track sponsors here. Of course, Skip's Boots. We couldn't do any of this without Skip. He's been a long-time sponsor with us. Always fun to have around. Big shout-out to O'Reilly Auto Parts, Kicks Country 98.7, as well as Bruce Rossmeyer's Harley Davidson. Of course, we welcome Off the Hook and Super Spray Power Wash. A couple of months ago, they came out and sprayed down all the walls and helped us get it freshly painted and sprayed the racetrack, cleaned it off. Big thanks to Off the Hook Bar and Grill sponsoring our new party deck over there towards turn 1 and 2. Just a ton of love to all of our sponsors here. We'll make sure we take care of them all week long here during the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. And there's the sign, 1 to go. Field beginning to double up into the columns of 2. And look at this, man, up to the outside, kind of as we expected. Once again, Derek Kraus going upstairs. It'll be Ty Gibbs to his inside.
Certainly will be. As we get ready to go back, it's going to be a quick sprint because we are on 164. When they come to the stripe, there'll be 10 circuits to go. Let's see what's going to happen. Lights are off on the safety vehicle. Previously, the 18 has had the advantage on every one of the restarts when it's been in the front row.
Here they come, looking for the green flag. It's going to be a shame. Laps remain. And we got to stack up further back. Looks like the 24 does not get going, but at the front of the field, it is the 16, Derek Kraus, in the race lead.
Car number 18 got out of shape, gathered it back. Here comes McReynolds. He's working the outside of the number 17 machine of Ty Gibbs. They come 166 circuits. Out at the front of the field, it remains the same. But McReynolds is all over Ty Gibbs. Gibbs continues to settle back in. All of a sudden, here comes the number 21 of Sam Mayer. Mayer now glued to the back bumper, gives him a little smooth snow on the back as he makes his presence known as they rumble down into turn 1.
Here's a battle further back between the 21 and 18. They make contact up the racetrack. Goes Garrett. Here comes Anthony Sergi now. Sergi trying to break into the top 5 for the first time tonight. When it counts, Sergi in the 20, inside of the 18. He's going to clear him off of turn number 4. But out front, it is the 16. Stratford, Wisconsin's Derek Kraus with the race lead over the 17 of Ty Gibbs. Brandon McReynolds, a superb run up to 3rd. And it's Sam Mayer, Anthony Sergi, as everybody runs single file, coming down to lap 169. Just 6 laps to go. Can they catch the 16 of Kraus?
There's no question about it. With 6 laps remaining in the competition, there's good racing action, but the 18 has become such a dominant car. Gibbs still running in second, with Reynolds still in the 3rd spot as they come down to the line. The big high five with 5 circuits remaining. Final 5 circuits are going to tell the story in this event. And what a story it's going to be. Meanwhile, things get strung out. Everybody that was so strong before the last caution seems to be even stronger now as they make their presence known and look to close out this event. Meanwhile, down in pit road, number 24 comes back out and rejoins. Remember, on the last restart, that car did not get fired back up. 4 circuits remaining as they come off turn number 4, and it looks like the Napa Auto Parts folks have a car that could be the big winner in this 175-lap event for the K&N Series.
Derek Kraus now makes his way down the back straightaway. 2.5 laps to go for the 16. No pressure from behind. Cars trying to make contact to make it interesting in the back of the field. They keep it straight. 173 laps in the books. It's going to be 2 to go. 2 to go for the 16 of Kraus. No pressure from behind. He was a master on these late race restarts. He chose the right line. He made it work. And here he comes out of corner number 4, looking for the white flag. He has it.
Final circuit as he heads down into turn number 2. There's no question about it. Car
race winner, Derek Kraus, gets it done here at New Smyrna Speedway. Ty Gibbs coming home a strong second, with Brandon McReynolds coming home in third. And we will head, he's so excited, he'll draw victory lane. He's going to do some donuts for you, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise for you. I think he's going to take the checkered flag for a spin. Let him hear it. He can hear you. He's right here by the flag stand. Give it up for Derek Kraus. What a great drive from deep in the field. Now he's going to take a victory lap here, and then we will work our way down the trackside as he tries to burn it out down the front straightaway. What a drive. What a clean race. What an exciting race for the K&N Pro East Series. And that's just the tip of the iceberg here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Still 4 big races coming your way. So we're going to head down trackside and try to grab a couple words with our winner. So as Derek Kraus finishes up his victory lap here, I want to remind everybody, Pro Late Models coming up next, followed by the Florida Modifieds, the Tour Modified 50, and then the Super Late Models to close out the program. So Derek Kraus now returning the checkered flag as the big winner of the New Smyrna 175 to kick off the K&N Pro East Series season. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek Kraus getting the 16 parked into Hampton Inn victory lane. Shout out from the crew. He's getting unstrapped and he's going to get ready to climb on out of this thing.
Derek.
He's getting unstrapped, taking the helmet off. His crew's going to hand him the trophy so he can celebrate with it when he climbs out. Ladies and gentlemen, when he does get out of this machine, let him hear it. This youngster drove the wheels off of this car from 16th on the grid to get it up near the front and hold off a star-studded field on a 10-lap shootout when it all counted. Derek Kraus getting unstrapped from the race car. When he climbs out, he'll celebrate with his crew, grab a few words with the folks from NBC Sports Network, and then we'll get on in there and grab a word with our race winner. And here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise for Derek Kraus as the confetti goes off and we get a bath down here. Absolutely spectacular drive. The crew could not be happier. And I'm sure the driver is just as happy. So he's in there grabbing a quick word with the folks from NBC Sports Network, and then we'll pop on in there and talk to our race winner. Ladies and gentlemen, he's finished up with his television interview here as he gets some more congratulations from the crowd. Mr. Kraus, there's your trophy, sir. What a drive from you today. I'm sure you weren't expecting qualifying to get rained out, so I'm sure you're working on race stuff for practice, but you had to start deep in the field. You were able to drive all the way through and get this car into victory lane. What a masterful performance from you today.
Yeah, thank you. It was a really good car BMR brought me here. I mean, we struggled a lot, to be honest with you, during practice. The practice sessions on Saturday and Sunday, and I was a little worried going into it. We didn't get to do our mock run, so we had to start deep in the field. But once the race started, and I knew right away we had a pretty good car underneath me, so that was really good. And at the end of it, we ended up here in victory lane.
Now, it looked to me on the timing and scoring, you had one of the fastest cars all race long, but you had to pick your way up through the field. How hard is it to be patient in a situation like that when you know you have such a fast race car without tearing the thing up when you know you have so many laps to go?
Yeah, it definitely helps when I got someone good on the radio like Freddie. I mean, he's in my ear the whole race. If you guys could listen, he's in my ear every single lap. Don't burn that right rear off this thing. And that's what we had to do to win this thing, and I feel like we did a really good job doing that.
You absolutely did. With all the strategy that has to go in this race with the stages, did you guys have a plan, or were you just going to race it as hard as it could go and get up and pass as many cars as possible?
Yeah, we had a plan right away to come in on that first break, and that's what, right away the car was pretty good, so that's what we did, and then we stayed out the second one, and I feel like track position was big here. It's pretty tough to pass here, but if you got a good turning car like I did tonight, it was easier than what it normally is.
Now, we saw restarts be a big deal. One time the outside would work, one time the inside would work. What's going through your mind coming to the last restart as far as choosing that line?
Outside for sure. It's always the outside here. The car fired off really well, so that helped a lot on the restarts and just didn't my tires, and that's what ultimately got us the lead.
And quickly, who would you like to thank for helping you get here to Hampton in victory lane today?
Yeah, just everyone here that helps me. My mom and dad, my grandma and grandpa are up in the stands, so it's a good trip for them to come down. And of course, Napa Auto Parts was a big part of my team, and Bill McAnally Racing. So it's really an honor to have them on the car.
All right, man, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Derek Krause, your winner of the K&N Pro E Series.